Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever, wherever, however you're watching the WarTide podcast. This is episode number 6. Before we do anything else, I want to give y'all the verse of the day. And the verse of the day is Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. If you don't know God, please find God. The time is definitely coming. You never know when the day is your last day. You never know when God is returning uh, to come save all of us. So if you don't know God, find God, please. I mean, it is He died for our sins. He's not closing heaven off for anybody, no matter what you done, no matter how much guilt you got. So if you seek Him, He is always there waiting for you. Uh, with that being said, we're gonna get straight into it. And before I predictions, we're gonna talk about the James Franklin and Trent Dilfer firing that happened over the weekend. And we're obviously going to start it with the big name at the big school, Trent Dilfer. Uh, no, we're going to
The
start with James
Dilf.
Franklin. Um, and before I pull out any stats, um, James Franklin is a good head coach. I think maybe potentially a Hall of Famer. I don't know that's not up to me. That will be decided later on. But he's a really good head coach. I don't think he's done coaching. I definitely think he's going to go out there and look for a new job. He may come to the SEC. Not saying that's Auburn, but it could be like a Florida, like a Arkansas. Who knows? Who knows where he goes?
UAB.
If James Franklin goes to UAB, I'm a UAB Blazer. I'll tell you that much. He would never lose a game.
No, you would hope not. You would hope
Um,
not. And until the big games come, that is.
but I do want to get into some stats. James Franklin record at Penn State is 101 and 42. In Big Ten, 64 and 33. Now, you hear those pretty solid, and considering where they were the first or the last 5 years before James Franklin, they went 7-5, 8-4, 9-4, 7-6, 11-2. And 11-2 was the furthest. That was in 2009, and the 7-5 was the year before James Franklin. So you hear that record, and you think, wow, And he did turn this program around. This was not a desirable job when he took it. They were kind of in the slums. I'm not gonna say in the slums, but they weren't great. They were middle of the pack. And the conference record for those years in 2013 was 4-4, 2012 was 4-4, 2011 was 5-3, 2010 was 4-4, and 2009 was 6-2. So it was a struggling Penn State team, and he really did turn them around. But see, we're gonna talk about. To me, I'm gonna talk about why he got fired, and he got fired because James Franklin's record at Penn State versus AP top 25 teams was 17-26. That's below 40% winning percentage. Against top 10 teams, he's 4-21. And against top 5 teams, he has 1 total wins in 16 tries. 1-15 against top 5 teams at Penn State. And like I said, he did turn the program around. I'm not going to say he absolutely was their savior, but he turned it around. He brought a new culture. He brought a winning culture to a certain extent. Last year, they were a few plays away from national championship appearances. So, do I believe this was the right time? Personally, no. I would have given a few more years. I think it was really a bad look for Penn State to do it in the middle of the year of all things. If you're gonna do it to a coach like that, these coaches see that. You fire a coach of that stature in the middle of the season, they're gonna take that into account into whether they want to be your next head coach or not. The fans booing him off the field, um, So it is sad to see, but at the same time, when you build that expectation, when you are a few games away from the national champion, I mean, a few plays away from the national championship, um, when you do kind of build that culture and you show these fans that you're a winning head coach, when you go 1-15 and 4-21 against top 10 and top 5 teams, it's really, really hard to, back up what you're saying. How am I supposed to believe in you and trust in you if you're 4-21 against top 10 teams, but I expect you to go and win a national championship? So he brought that culture, but he did not withhold that culture. I will say I am very surprised that James Franklin got fired before what's his name,
Billy.
Billy Napier and Dabo Sweeney. I'm really surprised
Oh
he
yeah.
got fired before Dabo Sweeney. I think his time is coming to an end. But you know, I don't agree with the timing of it. I would have maybe given him a year or two more, and then if it's just not changing, okay. But like I said, they were a few plays away from that national championship, one game away, um, losing to Notre Dame and the semifinals. So coming off of that and then firing him mid-season is really a bad look for the school. But you look at these stats and you see, well, here's why. Like what can they do when you're that bad against these top ranked teams? And that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I did not agree with the current timing of
No,
the firing.
not at all.
Um, he was 34-8 the previous 3 seasons.
Hmm.
A couple plays away from making a national title game last year. Just won 2 playoff games last year. I don't agree. He is a guy that represented your program better than almost anyone anywhere else. Everything I've heard about how he does things, how he runs his football team is top notch. I'm a huge fan of James Franklin. Not even talking about the coach James Franklin, the person and how he runs his program. Phenomenal guy. Does everything right. Loved Penn State, loved the fans, loved College Station. He loved his players. That was evident. You see players posting on social media. They are not happy. Recruits that are signed there, not going to be signed there for long, let me tell you that. They are not happy. They fell in love with James Franklin. And I think if we all had an opportunity to meet James Franklin and sit down and talk with him, we would all fall in love with James Franklin. I think he is that kind of person. So I disagree with this fire. I'm not saying it had to happen. It couldn't happen. I'm saying it didn't need to happen right now.
Right.
Every year, everybody's should be allowed one stink up year. All right. Florida State won 2 games last year. All right, it's going to happen. I think it's the nature of college football. Even you can look at Clemson right now. You can look at Alabama, who lost 4 games last year. Teams are going to be struggling. All right, the whole super consistent 10, 11 win seasons making the national titles that for some reason everybody thinks that they can do what Nick Saban did, somewhat regular. I don't know what they're thinking, but that's just not the reality of college football. Now, the record versus top 10, terrible. All right, which is why I think that time was coming. I did not think it should have came right then and there. The only way I excuse it on the Penn State side is if you had some major donors, boosters, who said, the next paycheck we are writing is his buyout check, and you're not getting another one until that happens. In which case, in the current landscape of college football with NIL and everything, I can kind of see how their hands were tied there, but there's no evidence that that happened, so I'm not ready to say that that's what happened. I disagree with the fire. In my notes, I have, does Penn State really think that they're going to do better? Do they really think that they're going to go hire a better coach? The favorites to get the job right now, Matt Rule, I don't think he's better than James Franklin. Bill O'Brien, I don't think he's better than James Franklin. Kurt Signetti, he could be, but are you really going to be able to get him? I, I don't know. I don't know. Kurt Signetti, he seems like the type of dude who would not want to come to Penn State after that. Manny Diaz, current Duke coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's James Franklin. Urban Meyer, not coming out of retirement. Lane Kiffin is not leaving Oxford to go to Pennsylvania. Joe Brady, current head coach of the Bill or offensive coordinator for the Bills. That could be an option, but he's not in college football. Do you really want that? I don't think they're going to do better. I think this has started. Like the Israelites in the wilderness. Get ready. Penn State's, I think, is about to be in the wilderness for the next few years. Not going to be saying they're going to be terrible. Probably going to win at least seven, probably 8 or 9 games every year. But I'm telling you, uh, the timing of this was not right, and I think it's going to bite them in recruiting. I think it's going to bite them come transfer portal this offseason. I think it's going to bite them in coaches not wanting the job totally. So I hate it. I hate it for James Franklin. I think Penn State should have at least held off, and they better be certain that they can get somebody better, because if not, they look extremely stupid. I'm just not sure that they can get somebody better, especially since, I mean, I talked about this coaching cycle this offseason could be insane. Um, Coaches moving all over the place. Could Penn State possibly become an afterthought for some of the top candidates you know, if a lot of other jobs do open up, such as Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Kentucky? Uh, I, maybe, possibly, maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna go into some guys who I think they should hire, who I think they should target. I think number one, Kirk Signetti. You try him. If he says, you make him say no. You make him say no. He's proven that he can make a winner out of Indiana. Surely he can win at Penn State. Matt Campbell over at Iowa State. I think he's a really, really, really good coach, and I think he'd be really good there. I think the list stops there in terms of replacements, realistic replacements that might be better than James Franklin. Other than that, everybody else, I don't think would be better. The next guy I have on this list, who I think really could get hired and might not be a terrible hire, and this is going to sound funny when I say it, but this is a guy who does not like the fan base where he's at, does not like the administration where he's at. The fan base doesn't like him. The administration doesn't like him. He doesn't really get along with the culture in said area of the country because he's a guy from Boston living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Brian Kelly, should this season go where it could, which could finish in 8-4 or 9-3, very possible with their schedule and how this team looks. Could you see Penn State say, "Hey, Brian Kelly, you want to come back up to this area of the country that you like better than down there? Could you want, get back up here in your recruiting grounds where you did so good at Notre Dame for years? Didn't get the championship done, but he had put a lot of good teams on the field. And does LSU kind of let it happen? Because maybe LSU's starting to get a little tired of Brian Kelly. I saw an LSU account post today that basically saying that, like, I forget, a certain percentage of LSU fans want Brian Kelly to take the Penn State job. They are ready for him to move on one way or the other. They are ready to restart because they don't think Brian Kelly's the guy. So maybe Penn State does think he's the guy, and LSU doesn't. Maybe Brian Kelly's ready to get back up north. Regrets his decision of coming down south. That's a possibility. I don't think Manny Diaz would be a bad hire. He is taking a Duke who is lacking in talent, lacking in resources, lacking in the fan experience, so the games aren't super loud. The environment isn't crazy. He's taken them, and they are a secret contender to play in the ACC title game because they are not a bad football team. And then last, every big name coaching search this offseason is going to have Alex Golish's name on it. I think he's a phenomenal coach. And if Brian Kelly were to take a Penn State job, I think Alex Golish probably ends up at the likes of an LSU or a Florida or an Auburn if that comes open. But if none of those jobs come open, Penn State, not out of the realm of possibilities. He's never coached up north, but crazier things have happened. I'm just not sure that they can do better. That's what it boils down to. And I think it's disrespectful to a guy who did nothing but do you good. And that's all he did. So I feel for James Franklin. I feel for his family. I feel for the players there who probably just feel like they got stabbed in the back from their own administration and people writing the checks around there. So that's all I got to say about that.
Um, I can go top three coaching hires, um, or who projection really. I think number
Yeah,
one is Kurt Signetti, but I don't think right now in this current moment Penn State has amazingly more connections or money at their disposal more than Indiana does right now. I don't think that's something that really blows Kurt Signetti away. I I think Kurt Signetti is staying at Indiana. Um, I really think it's hard for it's hard for me to believe that he would leave. He might, but I think he's got what he wants right now at Indiana. He might leave in a couple seasons. That is to be decided. But that would be number one if they could get him. I think that would be their number one hire. I got pushback. I got pushback to what you said. Um, I don't think he's a better coach right now, but in the future, I think maybe he could be
right.
a better coach. I really like Matt Rule. I think he's a good head coach at the college level. I think his biggest problem is finding a defensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator. Um, but when you go from a team like Nebraska to Penn State, um, I think that opens up unlimited options. Um, and I'm also saying his name because everything I've heard from both parties, pen and paper just hasn't been signed yet. Matt Rule did his Monday presser today and got up there and said, "Gosh, I grew up a Penn State fan. I love Penn State. I met my wife there. I love their AD. I love their fans. I love their campus. I hate it for James Franklin." And he just talked about it sounded almost like he was fantasizing about Penn State already. At the end of it, he said, "But right now, I'm focused on this team and my guys." But
Crap.
that's coach. That's coach talk. You just got up there and you told me right in my face with your body language and your tone of voice how you felt about the Penn State job. I if I had to predict right now who's taking the Penn State job, it is Matt Rule. Um, I think he is going to go there. And I don't think it's a terrible hire. I don't think Matt Rule will be able to coach long enough at Penn State to have a better overall record. But I think Matt Rule in the next few years, given the right money and um, coaching staff, I think he could be a good option. And if those two don't work out, I think a Manny Diaz is probably their third option.
I think uh I think Matt Rule will be hired at Penn State.
Yeah,
That is my prediction. Um I think they could do better. Um I think if you fire James Franklin, a guy who was so good to you, and hire Matt Rule, I'm thinking the ceiling isn't going to be that much higher. Even if it is a little bit higher, I don't see Matt Rule winning a national championship. I could be wrong. But if you fire a guy like James Franklin, it's because the next guy you're hiring should be winning a national title.
yeah.
So I'm worried about, why did Auburn fire Gus Malzahn? Because he was never going to get over that hump. He was never going to go win that national championship, the big game. So do you fire James Franklin for the same reason and then go hire Brian Harsin, another version of Brian Harsin, then Penn State set themselves up for the next 5 years of failure. At least we don't know how long this continues for Auburn, but it solely depends on who they go out and hire. I don't think Matt Rule is worth paying James Franklin $50+ million to leave halfway through the season to go and get. I don't think he's quite worth that. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I hope he does. I actually like Matt Rule, but I'm with you.
I
I think he goes to Penn State.
I think in the mind of Penn State, Matt. Like I said earlier, I don't think Matt Rule's on that level right now, but I see it if I got to fire my coach to get a new one, then we got to rebuild and reculturalize. So I think if just projecting that Matt Rule is their option. I think they're projecting that Matt Rule will be on that level, and by the time he is getting to that level, they will have reculturalized. They will have already gotten those recruits back, and he will have implemented his own team. So I don't think it's a necessarily win next year type of deal, but let Matt Rule grow into the Penn State job while Penn State grows with Matt Rule type situation. And that was my point of view when I said I think it would be a decent hire for Matt Rule, and why I think he's number 2. Now, if you can go get Kurt Cignetti, by all means, go get Kurt Cignetti. He's probably the number 1 option. But I highly, 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 highly doubt that happens. I do think it's Matt Rule. But I don't have anything else. I do think it's dirty how they did James Franklin. At least give the guy enough respect to end the season. He did everything for your program. I don't think he's a bad coach whatsoever. I think he's near the top of the list when it comes to coaches in college football. I don't agree with it at the timing. I understand why you want to, and I'm very disappointed with the fans booing him off the field after this guy just turned your program around. I was not, and I've been very open about this. I was okay when they fired Gus, but I'm like, oh, I hate Gus Malzahn. I was just thinking in my mind it was just time to move on, and that's okay. I think you can, as a Penn State fan, you can be like, okay, it's time to move on, but you don't boo the guy off the field after everything he did for your program. I think that's very distasteful and very disrespectful to a legendary coach like James Franklin.
Yeah, I agree.
But with that being said, we're going to get on to the next big firing. And I have complete opposites opinions about this firing. Trent Dilfer was fired from UAB over the weekend, and I have not many nice things to say. I was very respectful to James Franklin. I'm gonna get straight into the bad for Trent Dilfer. 9-21 over his tenure at UAB. 5-11 in American Conference play. And where did Trent Dilfer coach before UAB? High school. He coached in high school. So I do think to a certain extent UAB brought this upon themselves when they had an offensive coordinator who is at Louisiana Monroe finding some success right now. Already at UAB and ready to take the job. But no, they went and got a guy who had 0 college football head coaching experience, and he came in, and mind you, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Who cares? That's the NFL. It has nothing to do with college. College and the NFL are 2 totally different things. Just because you have success in the NFL, and mind you, I don't think Trent Dilfer won because he was a great quarterback. I think Trent Dilfer won because they had a great defense at the Baltimore Ravens at the time. But when you hire a guy just for that kind of status, it leads to bad things. And this guy, Trent Dilfer, and he came in very cocky. He came in very arrogant. He had no respect for UAB as a college. He went to Tennessee Stadium recording it. He had his children up on the podium. Nobody even asked him why his kids were up there. Not a thing was said about why his kids were up there. He was like, my kids can be up here. This is UAB, not Alabama. Dude, when he said some things about other programs and how nice they were, and when they were like, oh, well, UAB's got it nice, he shrugged it off like it was nothing. Just a lot of unprofessional things. I mean, the guy doesn't even dress professional. I mean, he looks like he's trying to fit in with the kids over there at the UAB Blazers. I don't get anything about Trent Dilfer, why he lasted this long at UAB. It was already projected at the end of last year that his job was at risk. Some people were saying that it should have been done at the end of last year. It wasn't. They carried over into this year, and we see what happens. Just a very unprofessional guy, and I wish I had nice things to say about Trent Dilfer, but I don't. It's just if you're not a good coach and they just missed, that's completely on UAB. So that part I put on the Blazers because I don't understand why they didn't just sign their current OC or another coach with head coaching experience somewhere, maybe D2, maybe at a even smaller school than UAB. I don't understand why they went and got this guy from a high school level, and then my main problem is just the disrespectfulness that Trent Dilfer had about UAB and how he carried his professionalism around the building. It just doesn't sit right with me, cheering for the Blazers and then having to see that. So maybe they'll get it right this time. I don't really have any predictions. Maybe their OC, the interim head coach, stays as current head coach. They've had a very solid offense this year. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I have no predictions. I have no idea. If the interim head coach does end up performing well, then I could definitely see that option. Um, Look, it was only a matter of time. I mean, I agree with you. I think he had a good vision for what UAB football could be. After all, the guy before him had that vision already and actually executed that vision, Bill Clark, who brought them back after the self-imposed death penalty. So I think it was time. I think you said everything about Trent Dilfer. I echo all that. I'm going to speak on the UAB administration side of things. Terrible, 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 terrible. Bill Clark, who won a bowl game like every year when he was your head coach, coming after what was basically the death penalty for the football program, and brought them into a really good football team. He ends up retiring at like 54. I think it was 54 when he retired from UAB due to frustrations with the administration. The administration surrounding UAB football is not good. And if regardless of who you go hire, I don't think they're going to have a lot of success because I don't think UAB is putting these coaches in a good position to succeed. Now Trent Dilfer, like I said, it was time. All right, I don't think it's totally on him. He certainly wasn't helping the matter. Um, so I think that's first. The UAB has to modernize their NIL infrastructure to compete with other American Conference teams because right now it just does not. It does not compete. Um, and they've been updating their facilities in recent years. That's one thing I will give Trent Dilfer is he did set up whoever the next coach is with much nicer facilities than when he walked in. So I'll give Dilfer that credit. But other than that, extremely disappointed in the UAB administration and how they handled it this whole time, but also everything around the NIL and recruiting, like it's just been sorry. It's just sucked. So I think for UAB football to fundamentally change to be a competitor in the American Conference, the administration is going to have to fundamentally change how they run things, on top of getting a better coach in there. So that as much as I'm frustrated with Trent Dilfer, I'm more frustrated with the UAB administration and letting all this happen in the first place, chasing Bill Clark out, who is only right now 57 years old, and he could retire at the same time Nick Saban retired and coached another 20 years from when he retired. A whole nother 20 years, we could still have Bill Clark, and he could still be off to the races and possibly have this UAB team competing to make the college football playoff and get that G5 spot. But instead, 9 and 21. 9 and 21. We chased him out the door and hired a high school football coach.
Didn't
9 and 21.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he retire after the year UAB upset BYU in their bowl game?
I think you are right about that.
I mean, you see,
So, yeah.
and then they joined the American Conference shortly after, and UAB should be competitors in the American Conference by now. It's very disappointing after seeing them upset a team like BYU and their stature and their history there. You as a small school upset that, and then you go to an even bigger conference such as the American, where you have teams like Tulane and Memphis who have shots at the college football playoff. You're in the conference. You could be competing with these teams right now, and yet you push out your I don't want to say elite, but really good head coach at this level, and then you don't sign his right wing man, the OC, and you let him walk, and now he's finding success elsewhere, and you instead go with an inexperienced, arrogant head coach, and it just completely falls apart. I do think, like you said, that they really don't spend enough money on the football side of things, which UAB consistently has had a really good basketball team for years. And they are competing in the American Conference basketball wise, but I do think, uh, you know, let's be real. In the state of Alabama, football is the bread and butter.
Yeah.
I love watching UAB basketball. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it could be a little bit more diverse when it comes to how they set everything up. I think they kind of just neglect football as a whole, and that's kind of how we got without the UAB Blazers in the first place. I mean, you lose the football
Yeah.
team, and then they come back and they turn it around. They look good, and then you push the head coach out, and you just don't care at all. And it is extremely disappointing to be a part-time Blazer fan. Um, what Alabama guy isn't a UAB Blazer? Um, I've
Right.
never met any. So you got this state that is a big football state, and you know you got their support, and you don't even try to care. Um, so it needed to be done. It's over with. We'll see what they do with it, and we'll see how they go about it.
Yeah. Very disappointed. We got to do better in the NIL area. Um, Mainly not necessarily with other sports that we currently have, but boosting the like going out and getting more boosters, getting more donors, getting more sponsors. They're in downtown Birmingham, not the richest city, but they could take advantage of that much more than they do. You know, you said you're a part-time Blazer fan. Pretty much everybody in the state of Alabama is. I'm a full-time Blazer fan. Literally, I'm giving them like 20 grand a year in tuition, and this is the football product that I get when I'm here. For anybody who doesn't know, I am a UAB student, so I see I keep up with them every single week. Uh, Incredibly disappointing, and I don't think it's gonna get turned around while I'm here, because I'm a junior. So next year is my senior year, and then it's over. So I don't think they flip it around in one off season. Incredibly disappointed in the administration, and they got to pick it up. Mark Ingram, not Mark Ingram, football player. Mark Ingram, athletic director of UAB.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think his job should be next. We need to get somebody who is going to be more ready to attack this NIL era of college sports, and I don't think he is equipped to do that. At least he hasn't proved it so far. So
Well, I have no further comments unless you do. I wish this
no,
would
I
focus
was about to
back.
say your camera's bugging.
Okay. Um, I don't have any more comments on that. If you want to go ahead and get into predictions,
All right.
we got a lot this week. Garrett has given me a chance to make up some lost time, some bad picks, and I'm gonna make some more bad picks this week. I'm ready.
All right. Yeah. So currently um the records are, see if I can find it. I can't find it, but it's like I think I'm like 37-9, and you're not. I don't know exactly what it is, but you're 10 games behind, so you'd be at 27 and and 19. I think that's the case. 27 and 19,
Uh,
37 and 9.
29-7 for you, and I'm 2016.
Okay, cool. So we got a gap, so we need to make it up. So we're gonna predict 20 games. Get ready. Um,
This
we're
is
gonna kind
either
of
gonna,
fly.
be
Yeah.
terrible or
Eh, yeah, this could
we're gonna
go
see.
really bad or really good. All right, first things first. Tennessee, Alabama. Alabama's favored by 9.5.
Wow,
8.5,
that's
depending
crazy.
on where you look. It's 8.5, 9.5, depending on where you look. The spread is, or the over/under is 59.5. It's a 6:30 game in Bryant-Denny Stadium, Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Are you gonna give your prediction first?
Yeah, I do it. I think Alabama wins 38-31. Another one possession game, maybe a garbage time touchdown or field goal for Tennessee to kind of make it a little bit closer. I think more of a condensed game. I think Alabama's going to try to dominate the time of possession, which is why I'm not predicting this game in the 40s. But I think there will be a lot of offense with a good mix of good defense from both sides. So yeah, give me Alabama 38-31. Them not covering. But I think that spread's a little too far for my liking, even though it's a home game for Alabama.
I think it is a little bit too far. I'm gonna go Bama 31-28.
31-28. Okay, so another really close game.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the wire.
Yeah, I hope
Really
not.
disappointed
I
I
want to
can't
cruise
watch it
past them.
live.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to hear my rants about it whenever we're texting throughout the games. We have to keep each other updated on, on each other's teams. All right, next. Speaking of your game, let's go. Missouri's going to Auburn. Auburn is favored by a point and a half, so basically a pick'em game. Um, it is 6:45 in Jordan Harris Stadium. Um, what you thinking?
Hey, hey, if we didn't do anything else, we finally been favored. I'll take it. End it now. End the game's
Did
over.
you know y'all were favored? Did you know that?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay,
I
cool.
think when I heard about it, it was a 2.5 point spread. I think it's
Yeah,
gotta
depending on
it's
where you
gonna
look,
go.
you also see 2.5. Like I've seen both. I went with the smaller one.
I'll go Auburn 24, Mizzou 20.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm not too far off your score. I'm going to flip the outcome though. I'm sorry. Auburn has to show me something more on offense, and in the second half, I'm going to make them prove me wrong before Missouri. Missouri just coming off a tough loss to Alabama. They had their chances. They did not get it. Alabama just outplayed them. No shame in that, but if you're Missouri, you think you could have won that game, and you're definitely thinking you can win this game. Like I said, I think this game is incredibly important for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers, but I think there's just too much going on. I think the mental edge is just not going to be where it should be for Auburn. So I'm going to go with a close score. I think Missouri wins 27-24. But this really could go either way. I've said that a lot about a lot of games, but this one for sure, especially since it's a night game at that voodoo place y'all got down there.
Neither one of them. I don't blame you. If I wasn't an Auburn
Eventually,
fan, I'd probably be picking against them right now,
I don't think I've picked them once this year.
and I don't blame you.
And yeah. Um. All right. Next, we have a game. We have the Jerry Bowl. They used to call this the Jerry Jones Bowl because they used to play it in Dallas. They don't anymore. But Texas A&M goes to Arkansas. This is a 2:30 kickoff. Texas A&M is favored by 7.5 points.
I do believe Bobby Petrino magic will happen at some point. I don't think it's against Texas A&M. I'll take Texas A&M 30, 34, Arkansas 24.
Okay, we are pretty similar again. In my notes, I have where things happen in Fayetteville, but I'm gonna hold off on predicting the Petrino magic for now. Give me Texas A&M in a bit of a closer game. Give me 35-30.
They
I'm
play.
waiting to I'm waiting for when uh, Arkansas and Auburn played to pick Arkansas. So
Oh man, I hate you. I hate you. Hey, you're weird, dude. That's weird.
that's when Petrino magic is gonna happen.
It is. It
Uh,
is. I fully believe you too.
um, good news. Never mind. Now, where game day is gonna be at, Ole Miss is going to Georgia. Georgia's favored by 7.5. 3:30 local time kickoff.
I just how you've been saying you have a feeling about the Indiana game, about the Oregon game. I just got a feeling Lane Kiffin goes back to back. If you were right earlier about Kirby being undefeated in get back games outside of Bama, he breaks this. Kiffin breaks the streak this weekend. I'm gonna take Ole Miss 35, Georgia 28.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Georgia. I'm gonna make Kirby Smart prove me wrong. I'm gonna make Lane Kiffin prove me wrong in this game. But like I said, I'm torn. I've gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think just the momentum mentally coming from the Auburn game is just gonna be too much for Ole Miss. I think they get their first loss of the season. Um, I think Georgia wins in a close game, 38-34. So Georgia scoring more than they really have all season, except for the Tennessee game. Because I think this is a vulnerable Ole Miss defense, better than has been in years past, but they have their weak spots. And yeah, give me Georgia. I'm gonna make. I'm not gonna let Kirby Smart prove me wrong. I'm gonna make Lane Kiffin do it. But it really could go either way because I am a huge fan of everything Lane Kiffin has going on. Um, Yeah, I will actually I'll be able to actually watch this game. You'll be able to catch the tail end of it. Excited to get to watch this one. Could be a lot of offense, could be ugly. Never know.
I'm ready. I think that'll be a good game.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, next up. LSU goes to Vandy. Vandy is favored by 2.5. It is an 11 a.m. kickoff. Um, over unders 49.5.
I'm taking Vandy. I think it goes under the over under. I think it'll be 20-27.
That's hilarious. Because I'm also picking LSU to score 20, but I'm also picking Vandy to score 27.
Wow.
We have
Wow.
we have the same score,
So
so
if we get this right, it doesn't even matter really.
it cancels out. That's crazy. Um, yeah, I think we already talked a lot about this game and why we have the predictions we do, so we won't spend too much time harping on it. Anchor down. LSU sucks always.
Yeah, boo LSU. I hate LSU, dude.
Right? Yeah, Brian Kelly, get him out of here.
Now he can
Um,
stay.
yeah, he can stay for all I care, but. Oklahoma. We already talked about this game. Oklahoma does go to South Carolina. It is a middle of the day weird time game, 12:45. Oklahoma's favored by 4.5. Um, the over under is 43.5. What you thinking?
Earlier I said Oklahoma bounce back game, and the more I just thought about that John Mateer injury. And you said back against the wall, South Carolina at South Carolina, weird time, weird things happen when weird things happen. If that makes sense, if you get what I'm saying,
Hmm.
it's happening at a weird time. John Mateer's hurt. South Carolina kinds of needs a pick me up. I'm gonna go South Carolina here. I think they just barely win. I'm gonna go 30-27.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite. So you're gonna get some opportunities here to catch up. I'm gonna go Oklahoma winning on the road. I think John Mateer is gonna come back much better than he did versus Texas. I'm gonna get Oklahoma winning this game 24-17. I think South Carolina's offense continues to struggle, and I think after this game, there will be talks, quiet talks, but talks nonetheless about Shane Beamer's job security at South Carolina. Next up. We have Mississippi State versus Florida. They go to Florida.
Mm.
Florida is favored by 9.5. It is a 4:15 local time game.
I really wish this was at Mississippi State. I would so pick Mississippi
Mm.
State. I think
Oh,
Mississippi
I would
State's
see.
the better team. This is a tough one. I just don't think they win in the swamp. I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi State won, but it'll be really hard for me to pick against Florida in the swamp against a team like Mississippi State. I'm gonna go 27-17 Florida.
Yeah, it's funny. We have similar predictions. In my notes, I simply have this is a must win for Billy Napier. If he loses this game, next week we will be talking about the Florida job opening. I'm telling you, he gets fired on Sunday if they lose this game at home. And then I have, regardless of, I said, it says I'll take the home team, meaning if whoever the home team would be in this game, I'm picking. So give me
Mm.
Florida. Give me Florida winning a kind of a weird game. I think they win it 32-20. I think that Florida defense really gives Mississippi State's offense a little bit of trouble that they really haven't seen all year. Because I'm a believer in this Florida defense. So give me Florida to win and cover. And Billy's job he at least survives one more week. Um, Depending on who you are, maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. Good for Billy. Um, Texas goes to Kentucky. Bad on bad.
Dumpster
Disappointing on
fires
disappointing.
going up against each other.
Yeah, yeah. It's a 6 o'clock game for what that's worth in Kentucky, and Texas is favored by 10.5.
Wow, it's a 6 o'clock game. I'm going with Kentucky. No, I'm just playing. Texas will win. I think they looked really good against Oklahoma. I'm not gonna say they absolutely found their rhythm, but I think they found a little bit of pride about themselves for the rest of the year. I'm gonna go Texas 30, Kentucky 20.
All right. Um, Once again, it's funny you said you don't think Texas is all the way back because in my notes I have Texas is not back, but Kentucky just sucks.
Yeah,
So give me Texas 28-10. I think this Kentucky's offense is not going to do crap versus Texas's defense. So 28-10, kind of a boring game to watch, I think.
I think it will be
But I
too.
don't think that's a surprise. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, unless you're a Texas fan. And even then, you might still agree that this is going to be a boring game to watch. Next up, Penn State goes to Iowa. Iowa is favored by 3.5. It is a night game, 6 o'clock, in Des Moines, Iowa. Uh, he obviously no James Franklin, no Drew Aller. They're both probably done with their careers at Penn State. James Franklin is. Drew Aller probably is. What do you think?
I'm gonna look. I don't know the first thing about Iowa this year.
They beat Wisconsin
They
37
beat
to nothing on
Wisconsin
Saturday.
37-0. They're four
Yeah.
and two. Beat Rutgers. Lost to Iowa State on a field goal. Lost to Indiana by 5. Um, I just wanted to know. I haven't watched a single snap of Iowa football, but I just think Penn State is too mentally exhausted. They're without a head coach. They're without a quarterback. I don't think they're mentally prepared to play this football game whatsoever. I think they're all kind of mentally checked out. I'm going to take Iowa. I'll take Iowa. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I'll take Iowa 20-10.
Yeah, I agree. No James Franklin, no Drew Aller. Players are not happy. Iowa's at home. It's a night game. Give me the Hawkeyes. Give me them 20-13. So very similar to what you have them. Um, Next up, SMU. This going into the season, this was supposed to be a big game. But SMU is going to Clemson. Clemson is a 9.5 point favorite. It is a 3:30 local time kickoff at Clemson. Um, I think Clemson continues climbing that ladder to be back in the ACC title game picture. Not saying they'll get there, but they're going to slowly climb their way back into the picture. And I think they get a conference win against SMU. I think they beat them 38-24. I think Clemson actually has a good game this Saturday.
I'm very torn on this game. Clemson has been slowly but surely kind of regaining their feet. But SMU's offense is still very solid. I think it's going to be kind of similar to the Syracuse versus Clemson game. I think I'm going to take SMU, and their offense is just going to be a little bit too much to handle for Clemson. I would not be surprised if Clemson found a way to win this game. I'll go 34-27 SMU.
All right. So we have some differences this week. There's a path for you, Anderson. It's coming.
Well, kind of.
Or
Some of these
could,
are kind of forced.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
if we make all these predictions and I just keep guessing the same one, it doesn't do anything.
yeah. True, true. USC Notre Dame. I think we disagreed on this one earlier. I'm
We
going
did.
with Notre Dame in a close game, 35-31. What you got?
I like USC for the exact same score though. I just
All
think
right.
USC is going to be 35.
I like it. I like it. So we're pretty much on the same page there, just flipping the
We've
results.
kind of been on the same page scores wise all
Yeah,
day.
what we have. Georgia Tech goes to Duke. This is a game I am extremely excited about. Georgia Tech is like the 12th ranked team in the country.
That'll be
Duke is
fun.
favored. Duke is favored. They're
Ooh,
favored to win.
interesting.
This would be an upset for Georgia Tech to win. Duke is favored by 2.5, over under 61.5. It's a noon Eastern time game, so 11 o'clock here. Um, I have Duke is favored, but I still see it as an upset game if Duke wins, regardless of the fact that they're favored.
I agree.
Um, I am secretly, not so secretly, a Duke homer. There's a Duke basketball and piggy bank right behind my head. Give me Duke to get a season-defining win, a close game over Georgia Tech, who has had some tough spots on the road. They went to Colorado and struggled. They went to Wake Forest and struggled. I think they struggle at Wallace Wade Stadium. Duke, give me Duke 24-21 with the upset.
We're gonna disagree even more. I like Georgia Tech in this game. I think they're another team that's 6-0 for a reason. Yes, they've struggled, but when it comes down to it, they make the plays that they need to make. Um, the closest to an upset was against Wake Forest. Shout out Robbie Ashford, former Auburn quarterback. I always like to see um, when he performs. He had a pretty good game. I was almost pulling for the upset that week. But I think Georgia Tech and Haynes King, who probably already has CTE, gets it done this weekend against Duke. If it was a night game, I might have differing opinions, but I think 11 a.m. game, the crowd won't be as electric. They won't be under the bright lights. Georgia Tech gets it done 27-19.
Nice. Okay. I don't think Duke's crowd ever shows up unless it's a basketball game. So even if it was a night game, I don't think it really would really matter much. Um, Next up, a game I'm excited about. If this game was played at the away team stadium, I think it'd be more intriguing, but it's not. Washington goes to Michigan, which is a conference game, insanely. Um, Michigan is favored by only 5.5 at home. It is an 11 a.m. kickoff. Um, of course, it's a Big Ten game. It's gonna be that noon Eastern time kickoff. Um, what are you thinking about this?
I agree with you. If it was at Washington, it would be a lot more interesting. I think Washington is very similar to USC, just like on a lot lower level. I don't
Yeah.
think Washington even has the defense comparable to USC though, and USC's defense isn't that good. Um, so I'm gonna give. This is a good one. This is a good one. I'm gonna give Michigan the edge because they're at home. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. I'm gonna go 23-17.
Yeah. You have them winning by 6. I also have them winning by 6. I have Michigan winning 30 to 24. I think Michigan bounces back, but Washington is not a bad football team and can pull the upset off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not predicting it. I think Jed Fish is a really good coach. Not predicting it. Um, a game that I'm actually really excited for. 11 a.m. kickoff. It's Baylor going to TCU. TCU is favored. Um, 2.5. Um, Secretly, I am a closeted Horned Frogs fan. I love TCU. I love everything about their program, their mascot, their colors, their uniforms were their old uniforms. They changed them. Shame on them. Um, Give me Josh Hoover and the boys at home. Give me TCU winning in a high-scoring game, 38 to 35.
Um, this is a tough one for me. I want Baylor to win. I want that Baylor to win to look as good as possible. TCU has had some tough few weeks. Um, I think they're off back to back losses. I could be wrong.
I think they only have one loss, so they just came off a loss, I think.
They also lost to
Maybe I'm wrong.
Arizona State.
Oh yeah, maybe I'm wrong then. Yeah.
Um, hmm. It's tough. It's really tough for me. Both teams, I believe, are 4-2. Baylor lost
Yeah,
to
you know what? I think you're right. 4 and
Auburn
2. That's it.
and Arizona State. So both teams lost to Arizona State. TCU did not. They played. They played 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna go Baylor. I'm gonna go with Baylor here. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I'm gonna give me the exact same score, 38-35 Baylor though.
Nice. I like it. This game's more poking fun. Michigan State goes to Indiana. I don't think you would ever pick this, but are you going to go away from Michigan State or are you going to stick with them?
Michigan State, bro. What can I say? Nah, I'm gonna take Kurt Signetti and the boys off of a huge dub in Oregon. I honestly don't even think this is close. Michigan State just got embarrassed by UCLA. Um, I'll take Indiana 28. Uh, 28 to 10. 28-10.
Yeah. I left this game blank on my scoring predictions because I was like, do I pick Michigan State for fun? Just for fun? Could you imagine if the one time you don't pick them, they win and I picked them?
You know how mad I'd be.
Uh,
Hey, go
but
ahead. Go ahead, take them.
they suck. They suck. I do not want that graphic on our Instagram page saying that I picked them to beat Indiana. So no, give me Indiana. I think it's a lot worse than what you said it was. I think it's going to be 42 to 10. I think they score 10. You predicted them to score 10, but I think they score 42 instead of 28. So, let's see. All right, next up, Texas Tech goes to Arizona State. Tech is favored by 10.5. It is a 2 o'clock game, Mountain time, so that's 3 o'clock here. Um, I think Texas Tech is legit, and I don't know if Sam Levitt's playing. I'm not making that mistake again. Give me Texas Tech. I think they win fairly comfortable. I think they cover. Give me Texas Tech 34 to 14.
I'll go Texas Tech 38 to 10.
All right. Moving on, we have the Holy War. We have Utah BYU. I believe we disagree on this one. I have Utah 34-31 in a close game. Uh, I think it's more of a must win for Utah than it is for BYU. And I think BYU has kept pushing, pushing, almost losing. And I think this is where they get them. I think Utah is going to really want this one, and they're going to show up and win.
I'm going to take BYU. I think they're 6-0 for a reason. I think they stay that way. I'm going to go 31-28.
Nice. So we both have 3 point games, just flipped. Um, Next we have Arizona versus Houston. Houston is a 2.5 favorite at home. It's 11 a.m. local kickoff. That's 11 a.m. here too. Um, I think Houston is a really good football team. Arizona's coming off a tough loss to BYU in overtime. We were watching that game when we were playing college football. But I'm really high on Houston. Their only loss is to a really good Texas Tech team. Give me Houston winning in a close one. I think it's going to be a weird score because it's big. That's Big 12 football for you. I think it's 33-30. Give me Houston.
Another disagreement. I love it. I love it. I'm going Arizona. I think Arizona is just the better football team overall. I like Houston's defense. I'm not really a big fan of their offense. I just they just don't do enough for me. And I think Arizona is just a better overall team. You said it's at Houston though.
Yes.
I'll go Arizona 27, Houston 24.
Nice. Um, a game that I never thought we'd be talking about, but over the past couple weeks, UCLA has demanded that we talk about them. Maryland goes all the way to the West Coast to UCLA. It's going to be 4 o'clock local time, 6 o'clock here. UCLA is favored by 2.5. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that UCLA keeps their hot streak going. I think they find a way to win this football game against Maryland. Um, Score. I'll go. Their offense has been absolutely on fire. As much as I hate to say it, Nico, I am Aliva, I am Alava. Uh, I'm gonna leave him. However you say his name. Uh, he just he's been very solid doing it with his arm and legs. He's been very accurate, not making too many mistakes. I'll go 35-21.
Yeah, we are not far off at all. I think the UCLA magic continues, so why not? Give me UCLA. Although I do love Mike Locksley, Maryland's head coach. He's a former Saban assistant. I think this offense plays really good. Give me them 37-24. All right, last game up. It's a big game in the Mountain West Conference for anybody who cares. UNLV goes to Boise State. UNLV is undefeated. Boise State does have 2 losses. This game very well could decide who goes to the Mountain West Conference. And if UNLV keeps winning, they could find themselves in the college football playoffs. Um, Boise State is favored at home by 10.5, which seems like a steep number to be playing an undefeated UNLV team, regardless if it's at home or not. But Boise State's only 2 losses are at USF and then at Notre Dame, so not really bad losses. It's a 1:30 game at Boise State. Give me Boise State in a close one. I think it's a 1 point game. Give me them 28-27.
Another disagreement. I'm all for that Dan Mullen offense. I think he's doing a really great job down there at UNLV. A really rocky start. It didn't look like it was going to be really a salvageable season. I can't remember who they played in week one, but I think it was a D2 school, and it was super. It was like they barely escaped.
Yeah,
Idaho
right.
State 31-38. But I think UNLV finds a way to win against Boise State. It's at Boise State. I'll take UNLV 38-28.
Nice. So you got them flipping the spread on Boise State, going from underdog 10.5 to winning 10.5. I like it. I like it. That's all I got for predictions. That pretty much covers every game in college football this
Yeah,
Saturday.
every
So,
game that matters.
yeah,
How
it's
many
20 games. We just
disagreements
predicted
did
20
we
games.
have?
Let's see. Um,
And I don't know if you're watching, but this is a very close Washington Commander Chicago Bear game going on right
yeah, I
now.
have it on over here. So
And
we predicted 20 games. We disagree on 11.
that's great or really bad.
We're
We'll
terrible.
find out. I think this will be good. I like my picks. I don't really regret a lot of my picks. I'm scared about the UNLV, and I'm scared about South Carolina. Those are probably my two ones that I'm most nervous about. But
My prediction is we probably split some of these, and it's probably about the same.
that would anger me. That would anger me. I need a huge week. That's what I need.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it getting back close again. I'll say that. You've had two bad weeks to start, and it's killed you. So, you catching back up wouldn't be terrible for the content, you know?
Nah, we need a competition in here.
Yes, sir. I agree. So I'm hoping for the best for you. Uh, Obviously, I don't think it'll happen because I like my picks too. So,
Uh, but with that being said, we're both intrigued in this last two minutes of the Chicago Bear game, seeing if Caleb Williams will pull it off. So on that note, this is a long episode. I just feel like it keeps getting longer and longer. I don't
yes,
mind it.
yes,
I don't mind it at
no,
all. As long as you're here for it, I'm here for it. Um, if
here
you're
for it.
if you're listening or watching the WarTide podcast, thank you. We appreciate you very much. We're on a weekly schedule now of every Monday at around 7:15 on Twitch. It'll be posted either Tuesday or Wednesday on